I always thought the hardest part of a fitness challenge was, the actual fitness part. But when I decided to walk 10,000 steps every single day, I discovered the real fight was all in my head. I wasn't sure I could stick with it, but I publicly committed anyway, putting my own accountability on the line. I had no idea if I'd fall flat on my face or actually see it through. This is the story of what happened next, the unexpected turns, and how just walking completely transformed my state of mind. The setup. Before this whole thing, my routine was, let's just call it efficiently sedentary. I work from home, so my daily commute is about 15 steps from my bed to my desk. My days were a blur of screen time, typing, and a whole lot of sitting. It's not that I was a total couch potato. I'd get these random bursts of motivation, hit the gym for a week or two, and then life would happen. Consistency just wasn't my thing. I'd look at my watch at the end of the day and see a number so sad it was almost funny, sometimes barely 3,200 steps. I felt sluggish, my energy was always in the red, and that afternoon brain fog was a daily guarantee. I'd see people crushing the 10,000 step challenge and think, good for them, but that's not for me. It just felt like this massive, impossible number. And it turns out, the whole idea of 10,000 steps being the magic key to health came from a Japanese marketing campaign for Appodometer back in the 1960s. It was more of a catchy slogan than hard science, but it stuck around. For me, it felt less like an invitation and more like a judgment. But I was just so tired of feeling tired. I was over the mental fog and being stuck in a rut. So I did something a little drastic. I posted online, told my friends, and put it out there for the world to see. I was going to walk 10,000 steps every single day. No excuses. The challenge begins. The first few days were awkward. Suddenly, this number, 10,000, was a mountain I had to climb before I was allowed to go to sleep. On day one, I went for a morning walk and felt pretty proud of myself. Then I got back to my desk, worked for a few hours, and checked my watch, and 4,000 steps. It wasn't even noon yet. A little panic started to set in. That evening, I was literally pacing around my living room like a caged animal just to get the last 2,000 steps. My family definitely thought I was losing my mind. It felt forced, unnatural, and honestly, a bit ridiculous. I realized pretty fast that one or two big walks weren't going to cut it. This challenge was about completely re-engineering my day. It was about finding all those small, almost invisible chances to move. I started taking the stairs instead of the elevator, even for one floor. I paced around while on phone calls. I parked in the farthest spot at the grocery store. I'd walk to the coffee shop that was 10 minutes away instead of the one that was 2. Every little choice was like a deposit into my step bank. That first week was a grind. My body was sore in places I didn't know you could get sore just from walking. I was constantly checking my watch, obsessed with the number. It felt like a chore, a second job I hadn't signed up for. I was so focused on the what that I forgot to think about the why. I was close to burning out before I'd even really started. The complications and the lessons. About 10 days in, the novelty wore off, and the real work began. This is where things got interesting, and where I learned the lessons that actually changed things for me. First, there was the time crunch. We're all busy. I don't have time was my favorite excuse for years, and now I was staring it in the face every day. There were days I'd be buried in work, look up, and realize it was 8 p.m. and I was only at 5,000 steps. The urge to just give up and say, I'll make it up tomorrow, was huge. But because I'd told everyone I was doing this, I just couldn't. So I had to get creative. I started breaking up my walks into smaller chunks. A 15-minute walk before work, 20 minutes at lunch, and another stroll after dinner. Slicing the goal into smaller pieces made it feel so much less daunting. I also started habit stacking, pairing my walks with things I already did. Listening to a podcast? Do it while walking. Calling a friend? Walk and talk. It became less about finding extra time and more about using the time I already had differently. The second and much bigger problem was motivation. Once the soreness faded, a different kind of fatigue took its place: mental fatigue. On gray, rainy days, the last thing I wanted to do was go outside. Some days I was just tired and wanted to melt into the couch. This is where I thought I'd crack. But then, something I didn't see coming happened. Around week 3, I noticed a change that had nothing to do with my body. I was out on a walk, not to chase a number, but just to clear my head after a stressful meeting. And as I walked, I could feel the tension in my shoulders just release. My mind, which had been racing with anxious thoughts, started to quiet down. That was the turning point. I realized the real win here wasn't about hitting a target, it was about my mental health. Walking was becoming my meditation. The rhythm was calming, and it gave my brain space to breathe. And it turns out, science actually backs this up. Regular activity can boost your mood and ease anxiety by releasing endorphins. A 2024 study even found that walking just 5,000 steps a day can reduce symptoms of depression, with the benefits growing up to around 10,000 steps. I started to crave my walks, not for the steps, but for the mental clarity. That became my new why. Finally, the physical stuff. Everyone asks, so did you lose weight? The short answer is a little. I dropped about 3 pounds in the first month without changing my diet, which was a nice surprise. But the biggest physical changes weren't on the scale. I started sleeping deeper and waking up feeling rested. Those afternoon energy slumps that killed my productivity, they started to vanish. I had more energy all day long, which felt totally backward. I thought I'd be more tired from walking, but it actually gave me more gas in the tank. The way I felt, stronger, more energetic, more alive, was a much bigger reward. The climax. There was this one day, about 6 weeks in, when I almost quit. It was a miserable Tuesday. It was raining, I was on a brutal deadline, I felt a cold coming on, and my head was pounding. By 9 p.m., I was wiped and still had 4,000 steps left. I just sat on my couch, scrolling on my phone, thinking, this is it. I can't do it. It's just one day, who cares? I was so ready to give up. But then I thought about the promise I'd made, not just to everyone watching, but to myself. I thought about how far I'd come and that feeling of mental clarity that had become so important to me. I remembered my why. So I pulled on my raincoat, popped in my headphones, and just started walking. I did laps around my neighborhood in the dark, drizzling rain. It wasn't fun or glamorous. It was a wet, tedious 45 minutes. But when I walked back through my front door, soaked and tired, and saw my watch tick over to 10,000, the feeling of accomplishment was incredible. It wasn't about the number anymore. It was about proving to myself that I could keep a promise, that I wouldn't bail on myself when things got hard. That night, the challenge stopped being a physical task and became a mental discipline. The payoff. So what did I really get out of all this? So much more than I expected. The real transformation was on the inside. The single greatest reward was the huge boost to my mental health. That daily appointment with myself, away from screens and stress, became non-negotiable. It cut down my daily anxiety in a way nothing else had. My mind felt sharper, my thoughts were clearer, and my creativity at work actually got better. I also built this incredible sense of self-trust. Every day I hit that goal was a small win, another deposit in my confidence bank. Over time, those deposits grew into a real belief that I can set hard goals and actually achieve them. And that feeling is spilling over into every other part of my life. The 10,000 steps were just the starting point. The real journey was about building resilience and self-respect. It taught me that consistency, even in small ways, is the most powerful engine for change. The invitation. This whole journey has made one thing crystal clear. This isn't just my story. It can be your story too. So I want to officially invite you to join this challenge with me. But here's the most important thing. You do not have to start with 10,000 steps. That number isn't magic. In fact, studies show that major health benefits kick in at much lower numbers, like 7,000 to 8,000 steps a day. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. So, start where you are. Try adding just 2,000 steps to whatever you're doing now for 1 week. Or set a goal of 5,000 steps a day. The number isn't nearly as important as the simple act of starting and being consistent. Find what makes it fun for you. A killer playlist, a great podcast, or a friend to walk with. I want us to build a community to do this together. So comment below right now with your goal. Big or small, it doesn't matter. Just declare it. Let's hold each other accountable and cheer each other on. Let's share the wins, the struggles, and the stories. In the end, this challenge was never really about walking. It was about taking a step, literally, toward a better version of myself. It's about proving you have the power to change your habits, improve your mind and body, and build a life you feel proud of, one step at a time. The journey is so worth it. I promise. Now, go get your steps in.